This week in movies, we're talking about Cirque du Freak, the vampire's assistant. It's our Halloween horror. We didn't see Saw this year, so we saw this one instead.
You said Saw.
So ever since the Harry Potter movies were such a huge success, the Pandora's box had been opened to adapt all of any children's fantasy book that is released, and even old ones like the Narnia books. They sort of put the nail in that coffin. So we had Lemony Snicket's and Bridge to Terabithia and
Golden Compass.
Even better than children's books are children's book series.
Book series.
Franchise potential.
That's right.
Merchandising.
And that is what this, so Darren Shan, I believe, is the author of the Cirque du Freak series. The movie is co-written by Paul Weitz and Brian Helgeland, who I've mentioned quite often on the show as winning the Academy Award for LA Confidential, Road Mystic River, and Knight's Tale, Payback. And Paul Weitz is the brother of Chris. So the Weitz brothers co-directed American Pie, and then co-wrote and directed one of the best movies ever made, I would say, about a boy, and then split off and Paul did In Good Company, Chris did a children's book series adaptation, The Golden Compass, and now Chris is doing a vampire movie series based on a book as well, Twilight New Moon, and Paul gives us Cirque du Freak, the vampire's assistant. That is my long-winded intro.
Charting.
Yeah. Can't wait to see the pie graph.
So, Alex,
Dan,
what did you think of Cirque du Freak, the vampire's assistant?
Well, I will say that originally I was very kind of caught off guard. Every once in a while we're like, oh yeah, we're reviewing this. And it's like, that is even in the wheelhouse of movies that we should review. I mean, it seemed like such a knockoff vampire kids joke movie. I mean, it felt like it was a Nickelodeon movie, you know what I mean? So I was sort of like, okay, I'm going with it, let's do it. And that said, it kind of lived up to what I thought it was going to be. You know, it's a lot of purple colors and, you know, a lot of like cotton candy. I mean, it's not made for adults by any stretch of the imagination. At the earlier parts of the movie, I thought were very funny, and I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed the humor. And then once the sort of movie happens, and there's like, let's throw in a love interest, and now there's some battle between vampires, it all kind of fell apart for me at that point. So I kind of left thinking exactly what I thought when I saw the trailer, which is, oh, cute, they're making a kids movie about vampires, but not like in the way that Harry Potter can be appreciated by adults. It's just a tween movie about vampires, and it was funny at times, but I wouldn't tell anybody to go see it.
I actually agree 100% with you, Alex. I took the words right out of my mouth. I think that the joys of Harry Potter are the fact that, yes, it is ostensibly a kid's story, but and you have this kid who's taken out of this mundane world and brought into a fantastical world. But it can be appreciated by adults, and I think the reason for that is the seriousness with which they handle the topic. And I don't mean seriousness as opposed to comic, because I think that there's a lot of funny stuff in Harry Potter, and you're right, there's a lot of funny stuff in this movie, and I think when it goes funny, it works by and large. It's a pretty funny take on some of these concepts. But I don't think the material is of the same caliber as Harry Potter imagination-wise. I feel like vampires are very much the creature du jour, you know, with the success of Twilight and numerous other vampire properties lately. It seems like it felt very paint by numbers. It felt very plug this in. And I don't think the lead kids are up to the task of carrying this film, sadly. I did not enjoy it very much at all. And, you know, it's interesting, there's a lot of American actors. You didn't mention any of the actors in it, but there are a lot of good actors in this movie. John C. Reilly, Salma Hayek, a whole bunch of Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
And you know, the Harry Potter movies are really famous for being this sort of spectrum of
British theater actor,
yeah, amazing British actors, and they get to jump in there and chew scenery, and it seems like the Americans wanted to have their version of that, and I think it falls really flat.
I disagree with you guys 100%. Actually, I sort of went into it a little nervous that it would be. I saw some good trailers and some not so good trailers, and I was hoping that it would be better than what I was. Be better than
what you imagined.
What I imagined it might be. And I was pleasantly surprised. It was better. It surpassed all expectations. I thought that. Visually, it had so much personality and was so much more stylish than I thought it would be. I think this is I actually enjoyed this movie more than any of the Harry Potter films. And I don't think I thought it was as good as Lemony Snicket's, but all of the other book series, including A Golden Compass.
In Golden Compass?
Including on Golden Compass. You said that after we reviewed the movie.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. No, but we reviewed on Golden Compass.
No,
I mean, the Golden Compass.
Jane Fonda and her pet tiger are having a...
Totally.
He meets that bear, who's her grandfather.
Including that, though, I think all of these, I felt those were very paint by numbers, the lesser ones. And even Harry Potter, I've always felt the way. And I was always on the outside of that feeling about Harry Potter, and this one did it for me. I thought it was hilarious, and John C. Reilly especially is hysterical, and I was just enraptured by. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be another vampire movie, because we have our True Blood and our Twilight and all those things, and I think it has enough of its own take on the material to warrant this franchise, and I really hope they do make more. Of them, and I do think it's for adults and kids. There definitely are some moments that are like, oh, this is a kid's thing, but the Harry Potter films are not without tons of those moments as well.
Well, sure, but you didn't find it incredibly clunky? This is a movie where you have a narrator come on and go, oh, by the way, I forgot to say, I'm really into spiders and he's really into vampires. Like, well, you couldn't have shown us that in some way?
There are definitely moments where it's like they're rushing. It felt like they're probably rushing through stuff. But once again, I feel like Harry Potter's got that all over. I feel like the Narnia movies always have that. So I feel like a little bit of it is something that when I watch these films, I sort of chalk it up to genre. But the moments that are great in this movie overwhelmed me. I love the style. It just sort of kept on. I was just impressed because I always thought that Chris was the more visual director, and I was let down by On Golden Compass, and the Golden Compass, and Paul with In Good Company did not measure up to About a Boy, so I felt like here he redeemed himself.
I realized that all of these guys
Cirque du Freak to About a Boy.
Yeah, I just realized that all of these
from the same filmmaker.
All these films that these two guys have made have too many prepositions in them.
That's what it is.